Dad, what the hell have you done with my Jeep?
I need a bit of it. You don't need this bit.
Want to explain what you're doing now?
I have no idea.
That's good. This is a
Take
real
this piece and I'm going to try and make a cardboard version of it, and then I'm going to lay it out on a sheet of metal and I'm going to try and bend it into the shape of the original.
That sounds good.
Oh, it's a little rusty.
Let's see it. Do you think we need to fix that? You're on video now.
Oh,
So you have
what if I make a mistake?
Oh well, we already cut that out, didn't we? So we have the U channel out here, and we've cut away a section of steel. We're just marking up where the bends start, and so we know how to round it out, because it's not a 90 degree, it kind of goes 45, 45 up. So we're just marking those out, and we'll get it on the sheet metal brake, and try our best to make a new U channel. So here's that cutout section of the U channel that we took out, and you can see how it has this seam, and then it goes from more of a curved U shape, and then it follows down here, and it goes more into a square, and that's where it mounts up the spring mount. So we have this made up. I can't take much credit for this. I helped out with the front part, but my dad did all this while I was doing that inner wheel arch. So we have that step to the square piece, and I need to get that spring mount on, weld it on, and put this back in. Now I do have another piece that needs to round up here to follow that U channel up, but I do also have this spring mount out. So I got this out using both an angle grinder and this hacksaw and a sawzall. Surprisingly, the hacksaw actually worked better than the sawzall to get that bolt off, but the threads are all good, so that's nice. I will have to get some new bolts for both sides just while it's out and put it on a new lift, so may as well. This does need patched up, and then I can get it welded onto here. So it's all coming together, and I'm also going to put some holes in here like so, and dimple dye it to give it more strength, and also just so it can drain and get some water out of there. So it's looking good. I have this patch made up, just need to weld it in and kind of build up this surface with weld. I might put another plate in here to give it some thickness and grind it down smooth. All right, well, I can't really remember where I left off last time when this was on the bench, but we have this welded up and clamped into place on the U channel. So we're gonna get this tacked in here, and just so we can take these clamps off and do on another one to this piece, which is like the bracket that the seat will rest on in the rear. And the reason we're gonna do that is just so we can get the clamps off, like I said, and then build up this piece. I have a cardboard cutout made, and this will be kind of tough just because not only does it curve up, but it tapers in. So I'm gonna have to incorporate that in here. And once I have the U channel clamped, both of those pieces, so I'm gonna have this piece repaired. I'm gonna try and do it before where the seatbelt mount goes, and tie in there, and I can clamp those together, get it all in place, and then just do one welding session, get it all tied in and strong. So that's what we're gonna do now. So here's the section that I need to cut out next. You can see I have a mark here, so I'm gonna cut that out. I have a piece made up here. I did transfer it over from the cardboard onto metal, and I used that shrinker again to make this kind of shape. And the other cool thing that you can't really see is that it tapers in. So it's actually not the same width here and here. You can maybe see that on the car. So it's a little bit thinner up here than it is down here where it'll mount up to the other piece that I made. So I'm gonna make this in two pieces. I couldn't really make it all in one. So I'm gonna make this bit fit that up, put a flange in here so I can weld it on the inside, and then probably put a plate in here as well between the two and weld it in just to give it more strength. And then I can build up some L-shaped pieces to form this flange that the floor will weld to. So let's get this cut out and get this made up and put in. Here we have the first side mounted up. I have this bottom piece made, and that's what I use to make that shape, the shrinker. And I have this that I made with a stretcher with the flange on the top. So I have it all clamped in place, and I'm going to get some welding. So I have the other side up, did the same thing again. Joined the top flange, this part of the U-channel the floor will attach to, and then kind of made a piece and made a flange behind to go behind this piece and this piece. And just need to tack it in like I did, like this over here. So once I have that, I can grind off the welds on the inside of here, take this whole piece off, do the rest of these welds, grind them down, make it look all nice, and then I can offer up this whole U-channel piece and attach it here and to the U-channel remains at the front. And once we got that all ground down and in there, we can find where that spring mount should be, get some like datum point to apply over here. So here we have the entire U-channel up to this seat belt mount. And I put 3 tack welds in here, not thinking about grinder access. So those 3 tack welds are really holding on. I have everything else off. It's loose. I just need to get those off. What I've been doing is using these like carbide drill bits because I can't fit the grinder in there. So in hindsight, I would have done these tack welds on the bottom, but that's what we're dealing with right now. And then we're gonna take it out. I'm gonna weld up the rest of these. I just have it tacked in, especially on the back here. When you're laying down and you're doing the welds from underneath, you get all the splatter and sparks on top of you. So it'd be nice to just get this out on a bench, weld it all up, grind it down smooth. And there's some spots in here that need to be cut out so to make some clearance. But other than that, this is gonna look amazing. My dad bought some more cool tools. He bought a dimple die, and he always mentions that he does this for his own projects that are over here, that one day he will work on. So the rest is all welded up, and I ground it down to look halfway decent. So it's all in there, and I did have to cut out those pieces in here, but it's all clamped in place, and I can get to welding. So I can get this thing mounted up, and then I'm going to, like I mentioned, I don't know if I said it already, but I'm going to start on the inner rockers, both sides, and do the floors, the front floor pans and the rear, just to give this some strength before I jack it up and put it on these. Put the jack stands underneath here, and take off this hitch and patch up all this U-channel. So that's what we're at. So let's get this welded in. So here's the spring mount mounted up. I just have it held on with a vice grip currently, and the way I located it was I found the distance on the other side from this flat piece on the spring mount on the front, and I measured to this rear seat stud, and it was around 17.5 inches. So I took that same measurement, applied it over here, got it clamped up, and just kind of marked out where it's gonna go. So I'm gonna get that welded up, do plug welds, and weld a bead down each side, and probably all the way around the bottom just to give it that extra strength. So with that all welded in, I did the bottom and top, meaning like inside here in the U-channel, and also on the bottom. So I'm probably going to grind this down and add in some more plates in here and weld them across just to stiffen this frame. And now I'll probably do that later once I get the rest of this floor out. So what I'm doing now, I've already started. I'm taking out all these self-tapping screws that are holding in the floor, along with some glue and various parts of Bondo and stuff with aluminum sheet on top. All right, well there it is, it's in. Got some decent welds on there. And I did have to beat out this this metal so it could fit correctly, so it'd get the right geometry. It needed to be flat, it was a little skewed. So it's all good now. I have plug welds in there, and I have it welded all the way around the edge. I have welds on the top. So it's really well secured in there, as well as around here. So some good welds in there, happy with those. Plug welds in the bottom as well. And what I've just done now is I've put the rear floor pan in, traced out all this so I know where to put the holes for the plug welds. So I'm gonna get those drilled out and set it in here, trim the rest of this out, and get it welded in.